Welcome back, Yah Royals. Okay, this will be the second part to the video that I did earlier. Give praises to the Most High Yah. So family, I wanted to take you into the book of Jasher, chapter 90, that will actually touch bases on how the Edomites joined with the Romans, because it says actually the Romans conquered them. So when you see here in this part here, you see chapter 90, the Edomites are smitten by Chittim. The land is divided and people have rest. So this is, Chittim is the actual, the ancient name for Rome. So let's go in a little closer at this. Then I have some other pictures to show you, to give you a little, leadway or a more understanding of where, the symbolic of the different buildings, the Capitol building in America, and also far as the Capitol and also the White House. But just imagine that all these different towns in America throughout the United States have these type of same style of buildings. The courthouses everywhere, the state house, the governor house, all these houses have the same type of style. So still yet this indication that these people are ruling still to this day, right? So it says here that the Edomites are smitten by Chittim, and I want to this is a little different than I normally would go into. It says at that time in the 15th year, or the 5th year after the children of Israel had passed over Jordan, after the children of Israel had rested from their war with the Canaanites, at that time great and severe battles arose between Edom and the children of Chittim. And the children of Chittim fought against Edom, okay? And it says here, the king of Chittim went forth in that year, and in the 31st year of his reign, and a great force with him of the mighty men of the children of Chittim, and he went to Seir to fight, which Mount Seir, to fight against the children of Esau. And Hadad, the king of Edom, heard of his report and went forth to meet him with a heavy people. Okay. I'm not sure why that did that. With a heavy people, strong force, and engaged in battle with him in the field of Edom. And the hand of Chittim prevailed over the children of Esau. And the children of Chittim slew of the children of Esau to the 20,000 men, and all the children of Esau fled from before them. And the children of Chittim pursued them, and they reached Hadad, king of Edom, who was running before them, and they caught them alive and brought them to Abonacus, king of Chittim. And Abonacus ordered him to be slain, and Hadad, the king of Edom, died in the 48th year of his reign. And the children of Chittim continued their pursuit of Edom, and they smote them with a great slaughter, and Edom became subject to the children of Chittim. And the children of Chittim ruled over Edom, and Edom became under the hand of the children of Chittim, and became one kingdom from that day. And from that time they would no more lift up their heads, and their kingdom became one with the children of Chittim. So you continue to read Jasher 90, but just to give you a little bit here, Chittim, to show you that Chittim is also called is Rome. Let's check it out. So they call it. So it's another name is Kittim, symbolic of Rome in the Septuagint, and Chittim is Rome. You see right here where it says Chittim is Rome, the country that which is mentioned in the book of Daniel. but it is found in the book of that. So in the book of Daniel, it's reference to it. They said, isn't it found in the book of Jasher, right? And so I didn't even, when I came across it in other books, once I couldn't find it in the Bible, because when you read throughout the Bible, there are certain times, or, not times, but certain places that say, isn't it written in this book? And then you like, what book is that? I never heard of that book before. So and then you go look it up. So this is actually mentioned, the word is mentioned, I believe, in 2 places that the book of Jasher exists. So this is where this coming from, family. Okay. So you read that and saw that account for that. Let's go to this whole thing about when you're looking at, when you looking to read to understand about how the White House came into play. Let me see if it's going to let me get there. So I'm just going to start back up here. So building the White House in Washington, D.C. Okay, the White House wasn't built in a day or a year or 100 years. The White House architecture is a story of how a building can be rebuilt, renovated, and expand to fulfill the need of its occupants. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a little bit here. I'm not going to say long, but you can see. Now, this is the Governor House, Lower Manhattan. So you can see they got the same type of style throughout America, okay? And it says General George Washington was sworn in as the first president of the United States in 1789 in New York City by 1790. Now, 1619, when the first slave ships came. So we must understand that there were presidents before George Washington, but they just want to give an account as of George Washington. So the story that I'm understanding is that there were so-called blacks that were presidents. It was like 7 different people, but one in particular named Hancock, John Hancock, which they try to say, oh, he was the governor over Liberia, which, some of the slaves went back to Liberia, and it was formed where the America had their hands on and in that place where some of the slaves went back. Some of those slaves went back because a lot of them was understanding that they were telling people that they were the Israelites. So they wanted to get rid of them, and they started they got a place in Africa on the continent, which name is called Liberia to this day. In America name, when you go and you plug in certain areas about the different colonizations, America flag is right by Liberia. And I was always like, well, why is that? I never knew that America had any colonization in Africa, but it does when you read up on it. So when you get a chance, read up on it. Okay. So then it goes here. It says to call the Governor House an architecture exhibit of the neoclassical elements. So let's go a little bit deeper here, and it's going to take a while to catch up. So it says originally plans for the president's place, a palace, were developed by a French-born artist. And his name was Pierre Charles L'Enfant, working with George Washington to design a capital city for a new nation. L'Enfant envisioned a majestic home approximately 4 times the size of the present White House. It would be connected to U.S. Capitol building by a grand avenue. So that's what he actually saw. He said at George Washington's suggestion, an Irish-born architect, James Holbein, traveled to the federal capital and submitted a plan for the presidential home. 8 other architects also submitted design, but Holbein won the competition. Perhaps the first instance of the presidential power of executive preference. The White House proposed by Holbein was a refined Georgian mansion in the Palladinian style. Okay, so I'm going to take you to what you would see that they actually had mentioned something about Dublin, and these are the buildings that are in Dublin, and this, I want to say, Ireland. Okay, so it's the same style. These same people have planted themselves throughout the earth. They got the same style of buildings throughout the earth. Okay, so just wanted to show you all that, and then it made a mention of the Palladinian style. So let's take a look at this. So as you see, This is where originally that this come from. Then you're going to see a little closer that right down here where it says the Palladios works was strongly based on the cemetery perspective and values of a formal classical temple architect of the ancient Greeks and the Romans. So all of this come back from these same people that Esau, Edom, Idumea was what? Conquered by the Chittim, which was a Kittim, which was Rome, that they became one people. Okay? And today, family, they're still one people. Trump had put out in a tweet that says that the Romans in America has been affiliated over 1,000 years. You darn right. Okay? So when you look at, even with Israel, what they call Israel, the Israeli state, you look at all that, is there and how they are actually coming as one. So when I think about Obama getting the first 8 years right in front of Trump, why? Why would the Most High chose him, Obama? We were about to hit the worst point, as if it was back when the Depression. We were, not far from going into another depression, so it was said, right? It also had shown that when after the inauguration, that night, during that night of the inauguration, a lot of the top people, Paul Ryan, a lot of the top people who, were high up as a senator or representative, once met at this restaurant, and they were all about blocking Obama. Also was mentioned in that same video that I shared that they said the old time, far as Old Testament, which saying punishment, which they were talking about judgment. They know that judgment is coming to them because Edom was only given dominion just for a period of time. His father said, he will break the chains of Jacob, because he's supposed to be a servant unto Jacob, right? He will break the chain, but he will get dominion. And how he would obtain that is through what? The sword. And he would live and die by the sword. Can't you see it? No matter where they go, they conquer, and they're always taken once they conquer. Then they put their name on it like they've been there all before, right? So that's just how deep this is. So I wanted to bring this to your attention, family, because, I want to understand and believe that the Most High want those who out there who have not connected dots, that we are living in a time where all this is coming to the forefront. These are the same people he gave us over to our enemies. Must we, know who their gods are so we can stop serving their gods, that we could, be true to our Most High. We never knew our Most High. We knew of our Most High. We always knew about this Jesus Christ. So even with saying that our Messiah will come, to redeem us according to what the Bible says, in the sense of that Father will appoint and anoint, because that's how he have done all along the way. I think we need to take a step back as the Israelites, the family, and be able to see it from an angle, not incorporating and putting their parts of what they have put in the Bible, because we know it was tampered with. We know the Bible, and especially the New Testament, have been tampered with. So we need to look at it from an angle, because once we get to understand who these gods are and start serving these gods, and the Almighty going to shine and put more, on us as far as his spirit, even the more. That's what I am getting and understanding. When I first came into this type of mode to be considered, that someone can call me a false prophet or an antichrist or reprobate mind, I sat and pondered on it for a bit, because the truth is that the path is narrow. The path is narrow for those who have came to a point to see that it's more deeper than just changing out a picture. It's more to it. And I've listened to several of my Hebrew brothers who, give an account for, the Messiah, of the Israelites, but they still tied in with all those same scriptures that tie into the Messiah that is of JC, that the world know it as. So when you look at it from a broad angle and you see the Messiah is taking, some type of, credit or putting himself as equal, and then he'll come back and say, well, I am not, I sit on the right hand. I'm not God, but I sit on the right hand. But there are certain scriptures that is said that he is like either equal or he is God. Come on, family. Come on. Let's go. And I'm not even given to go further in detail because, I'm not sure if the Almighty just want me to present this so it can open up your understanding for you to go deeper and see that we've been taken for a ride, that we still in this mode by us still giving leadway to this deity that they created. We must see this, that this deity plays a big part still in our everyday walk, in our Hebrew family, the Israelites family this day. So it's like, did you ever sat and say, okay, this deity was created, that picture, okay, but what about my Messiah? How did Father did it all along the way? How did he operate? How did he conduct? How did he carry forth? And we will see that he will raise up, and that Messiah will be amongst us in this day today. But they want us to say that Messiah went up and now he's with Father, just like John and Ezekiel and also Elijah. So family, I just see the bigger picture. I'm just here to have you to open up and see that you need to go deeper within that segment. We need to come together on that front before we can even, the feast days and all this different things. Father, see us in our doings in keeping the commandment. But the whole purpose of us being scattered to the four corners is because we were worshiping other people gods. That's the whole point. It wasn't because, so say we weren't keeping the feast days and we weren't doing that. Those things have been mentioned, but mainly at the top of the forefront because we've been worshiping other people gods. So why are we not zeroing on that? Why are you not hearing our Hebrew brothers and sisters talking about this? I'll come back on as the Most High leads me, but I just wanted to just share this with you all. These are same people. And the things, the way how they got set up, how our end gonna be, not necessarily has to be that way. It can be similar or somewhat. But they want us to believe by them writing the history, that it's going to end up that way. That means they're going to attempt, but Father has the last word, right? Because when it's called this New World Order, yeah, it will be a New World Order because the Israelites, will be back in this rulership in the rightful place. So that will be one king ruling across the whole earth. So that is a New World Order. Will they come and try to implement themselves into the mix and make it happen before that? Yeah, they can try. They got the Noah laws that they already got on the book that they pulled from the Bible, but they're going to add a twist to it and make it really, really, really bad for the whole world. If you're not, for one, if you're anti-Semitic towards them, and if you're not keeping these laws that you could, literally be beheaded. So when you get a chance, look up the Noah laws. If Father leads me to do a spill, on that, or a video on that, I will. But family, let's get to a place. Let's get to a place. All these things, other things that we all wrapped up in, just know. I'm on here to let you all know you need to go deeper. We all need to go deeper. Right? Blessings, family. Shalom.